Do you want to have your query letter critiqued, but you don't want to pay to have that happen? It can be done for free, but it will be public on all my socials. My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. Information on how to submit is going to be at the end. Remember, there's a real life person on the other side of this query, so we're going to be kind, and let's jump in. 16-year-old Clark Zhang just wants a peaceful year at Westwood Military Academy. He spent the last 2 years working up the ladder to become a second lieutenant to escape being a punching ball, though he's only a substitute. And it's fine. Being in the shadow of his best friend and his rival, Sergeant James Fisher, means his mistakes go unnoticed. I'm going to pause here. Because a lot of people ask me, should I jump straight in with story or should I give you metadata at the top? This is why you give metadata at the top. There will definitely be people who say they prefer jumping straight into story. I get that. I understand why that opinion is out there. And this is a really good example of what genre are we in? Is this a historical novel that is going to be very serious? Is this a YA coming-of-age discovery novel? Is this a fantasy novel and this military academy is actually full of dragons? I don't know anything about what it is that we are doing here. I would recommend starting with your metadata or being much more deliberate about word choice and being much more clear about genre in this paragraph. Make sure that you are using very specific, very deliberate terminology that will convey tone, genre, category, all of those things without having to put metadata up there. Is that harder? Yeah, it is. It's harder to do it that way. Can it be much more powerful? Yeah, it can be. This craft is hard. There is a lot of skill that goes into this. This is not as simple as just like slapping a couple of plot paragraphs together. Writing a query is hard. Understanding your genre and conveying it very quickly is hard. This all takes skill. All right, so let's continue on though. So when the police seek help from the student corps after Security Chief Paul Coleman's murder, hard pass. So he's going to refuse to help the police after a sergeant was murdered? I don't know that 16-year-olds get a chance to turn down. Yeah, that's a crime. Helping the cops could only bring him trouble. I don't disagree, but also like you don't really have a choice. However, this might be Clark's only way to ensure his promotion pending between him and Fisher. So how are the police are going to help him get promoted, especially after getting caught falling asleep during an important meeting? I really recommend against ending a thought in ellipses like that. What's missing here? What did you cut out of that sentence in order, like why did this thought trail off? I'm not 100% sure that that's doing anything for you stylistically. Becoming Baltimore PD's new informant won't be easy since Clark would have to compete with Fisher for the job. So, okay, I'm not 100% sure. So being in the shadow of his best friend means his mistakes go unnoticed. So Fisher so they're competing. Why does he want? So he wants to get promoted within the military academy. I'm pretty confused. I feel like we used some world building stuff up here that we don't actually need. This seems like this is a teenager being pressured into being a police informant. I don't know that we need the military academy stuff. Let's keep going. Principal Murray's pet knows how to work the system and get what he wants. Is the friend the principal's, I assume we mean like teacher's pet? Does the military academy use the term principal? Isn't there like a commanding officer of some kind, like a hierarchy here? This feels confusing. Also, thanks to Coleman snooping around, it seems every cadet might have a motive for his murder. So we think that one of these teenagers murdered the security chief. It seems particularly 14-year-old John Baxter, who appears on security footage with the victim few moments, and so we've got some typos in here as well. This all feels unnecessarily confusing. We have introduced a character down here kind of too late in the story for it to make sense. We also have introduced like some world building pieces and some elements that feel disconnected from the rest of the plot. If only Clark could get that meddling kid to speak. Is he meddling? Okay. When John disappears, Clark has no choice but to go after him. Does he have no choice? It feels like, oh, I didn't actually want to be a police informant. Oh no, I don't know where he went. It feels like that's a really easy solution to his problems. This is being set up in a confusing way. Could John's secrets help Clark safely navigate the web of lies and secrets knitting Westwood together, or would they throw him into the path of a killer? I think we have way too many of the wrong types of details here. I think your story is in here, but we've just got kind of a lot of stuff in the way. Completed 80,000 words, The Slumbering Sleuth is a mystery YA novel with serious potential, combines wimp, smart, amateur detective. Is wimp smart? Is that a phrase? I'm not 100% sure if you mean whip smart or if this is like a phrase that I'm unaware of being like wimpy and smart. Murder on a Night School, character driven plot. Okay, so we've got some comps in here. Okay, so let's talk about those 5 questions. Who is our main character, Clark? What is it that he wants? He wants to get promoted. What is he willing to do to get it? He's willing to become a police informant. I don't know how those two things are genuinely connected. I'm not entirely sure that we need as many details about the military school. What is standing in his way? There's a murder mystery on, but that it also the way you've described this, it feels like the problem is solving itself to a large degree. Like, oh, I can be a police informant and just not do my job, but then I get all the benefits without any of the consequences and the risks is sort of what it feels like. What happens if he fails? I mean, you throw in here at the last second that he might be in the path of a murderer, but that wasn't really on the table. There wasn't really a large sense of danger. This all felt like high school politicking to a certain degree. I think we need to remove a lot of world building elements. We need to remove the stuff and the titles and the things that are not actually part of the main story, because this rivalry just disappears. Like that sort of like sets us up at the beginning, but it is gone entirely. I recommend really just focusing this pitch up, making sure that you are staying focused on the now of the story and the character and the stakes. All right, if you would like to submit, the information on how to do so is in my bio. If you don't want to do this publicly but would prefer instead to use my editing business, information on that is also linked in my bio. It's on my website. And if you don't want to do either of those things, because I do have a pretty long line for both of them, I have a class where you can teach yourself this entire process, including some information on like how to navigate some tricky etiquette situations. And it's got before and afters of clients that I have worked with who have gone on to sign with agents or have publishing deals. All of that is 3.5 hours worth of content, and it's $30, about the cost of an add-on workshop at a writing conference. You can do that in my bio underneath the series button on TikTok, or it is available on my Patreon underneath the collections tab.